Hello from the studio in Nitro, West Virginia. This is Unreasonable Doubt. It's a podcast about West Virginia University basketball. I'm Josh Witt, and that was beautiful. The end result. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And that was beautiful to me. And there was some rough patches. West Virginia goes to Orlando. They go down as much as 14 in the second half, just like the Cincinnati game. This time they pull a 15-2 run to get back into the game, make big shots, make their free throws, and they leave with a 74-67 win over Central Florida. So not only did they break 60 for the second straight game, they get in the 70s again, and it wasn't looking good for that. I mean, first half, West Virginia was 1 for 12 from three. So in three halves of basketball, West Virginia, and you got to round it up for this percentage, West Virginia was shooting 9% from three. Not great. And Honor Huff, once again, struggling. And on top of that, foul trouble. And let me tell you, brothers and sisters, as much as Honor Huff has struggled, you gotta still have him out there, because West Virginia, without Honor Huff offensively, it's not great. And Huff was in early in the second half, and West Virginia was falling behind. They were down 39-30, and Hodge was only able to keep him out for about 4 minutes with 3 fouls. And Central Florida stretched the lead to their biggest lead of the game, 14. And Hodge had to call a timeout to get Huff back into the game. So as much as Huff is struggling, you got to have him in there. A struggling Huff on the floor offensively is better than no Huff, because West Virginia was lucky to be only down 14. It's just a night and day difference what it looks like when Honor Huff is off the floor. But he comes back in, promptly shoots an air ball. Earlier in the half, there was a possession where Honor Huff had a open look for three, passed it up to give it to DJ Thomas in the corner. DJ Thomas, I enjoy his work. He's a freshman, hasn't made a three since the Cincinnati game. Would I want of the two guys, and that's a weird thing, a struggling Honor Huff or a struggling DJ Thomas? Who do I want shooting a three? I still want Huff taking that shot. And Huff, good teammate, trying to get his guy going. I get it, but also I didn't like it. And it had me very concerned. He was deferring. And I'm looking at possibly 7 of the last 8 halves where Honor Huff, who is West Virginia's leading scorer, can't score. I mean, he did have a 3 in the first half. That was it. And right when the mind goes to pain and anguish, Honor Huff is coming off a screen, getting a 3 off, getting fouled, 4-point play. Few minutes later, he gets fouled shooting a 3, makes all the free throws. Then he starts going to the rim, finishes a drive over the 7'2" guy, the listed 5'10" guy, getting it over the 7'2" guy, gets fouled on another drive, makes both free throws, then gets the 7'2" guy in front of him again, hits a 3 over him. All of a sudden, West Virginia's up 7. So Huff finishes with 21, perfect from the line, 18 points in the second half. And for this team to be their best, it's when Huff is on the floor and scoring the basketball. And it's not like it's just the formula. And take the names out of it. Hey, your team has a leading scorer. Do they have a better chance of winning when the leading scorer is leading in scoring? Don't think about that too long. You want that person to do that. And Honor Huff did it tonight. He came through. And I have to start with Huff because he's the leading scorer, but another clutch guy today was Jasper Floyd. Floyd gets a lot of guff on the internet, and I would I would say the Jasper Floyd experience, let's call it mixed reviews. I mean, I'm on the record of what I will say, and I've said it many times on the record. When we get into the Jasper back down offense, I'm not a fan of that. And yet, that that play, it that does here's what I'd say. I don't like the Jasper Floyd back down offense when it ends with the ball in Jasper's hands. And it's worked. He did that in the Kansas game. That will never not be true. And the day the Jasper Floyd back down game gets Honor Huff, I mean, they just kept running that play. Give it to Jasper Floyd. He'll back down, run a couple of screens for a guy to come over and shoot a three. They did it for Eaglestat. They did it for Huff. Huff got the 4-point play off of that. It doesn't mean I have to like it, but I do like when Jasper Floyd is making clutch baskets. And he was offensively making shots when this team needs guys to make shots. And he made them in the first half. He had 3 threes in the second half. One was when Huff was sitting with 3 fouls. One was to tie the game, and one put West Virginia up 4 late. And Jasper Floyd finished with 17 points, 5 rebounds, no assists from the point guard. The team had 4 for the game. That's by far a season low. And somehow West Virginia wins that game by 7. That feels like a riddle. 4-assist win. And West Virginia, after going 2 for 22 on Sunday, needs to shoot the 3 better than 9%. And in the second half, those 3 threes from Jasper, a couple from Honor, they go 5 for 11 from 3. Way better than 9%. And you need that. Brendan Lauriant, who has been the most consistent Mountaineer in Big 12 play, big in this one, big during that 17-2 run, got it started, had 8 of the 17. Big play, broken play, where the Lauriant back down is happening, stumbles, falls, gets the pass off to Chance Moore. He's on his stomach on the floor. Chance Moore shoots from behind the basket, hits the side of the backboard. During that, Lauriant gets back up. Somehow the ball finds him, and he's able to get the ball in the basket before the shot clock runs out. Great on defense, and he had 11 points, 8 rebounds. And Chance Moore did Chance Moore things. And Chance Moore, what I appreciate about the Chance Moore experience, this is not something new. He does Chance Moore things. Sometimes more effective than others, but I'm not a college basketball coach. I've never done a scouting report. Is that one of the easiest guys to write up the scouting report for? It makes it even more impressive when Chance Moore does Chance Moore things, when he only does Chance Moore things, and you watch the tape and you see Chance Moore do Chance Moore things, and you say, hey, try to not have him do the Chance Moore things, and you can't stop it. He can mess up. Sometimes you get a shot blocked, but he knows what he's going to do. The opposing team knows what he's going to do. And here he comes. He did shoot a 3 tonight. He shot one of them. But he also drove the ball with his left hand and got to the rim and finished with a strong dunk. It's so he's my favorite player on this team to watch. He's not the best player on the team. He is my favorite player to watch because it is Chance Moore. If I could be myself the way Chance Moore is Chance Moore on the basketball court, I feel like I'd be living a better life. Chance Moore is so Chance Moore when he plays basketball. And he had 12 points, 5 rebounds, a couple of big baskets when Huff was sitting with 3 fouls. DJ Thomas, as much as he's not shooting the ball, you see him getting better with rebounding. You see him getting better defensively. Amir Jenkins was getting his turnaround to go. Central Florida really good at rebounding, and West Virginia was +4 in offensive rebounds, +6 overall. And West Virginia, who is one of the worst teams in Division I basketball, shooting free throws, they made 16 of 19 tonight, their best free throw percentage game of the season. And I thought Ross Hodge was really good today. He kept the pace exactly where he wanted it. Central Florida wants to play fast. A few times in the game, Central Florida was playing fast. They were running and getting runouts. And every time Ross Hodge burned a timeout, shut that down. Let's chill that out. And it was effective every time. Got back to playing at West Virginia's pace. And offensively, they broke 70. I felt like, now some of this is Central Florida, but West Virginia was getting open shots with frequency. And for 3/4 of the game, 2/3 of the game, whatever, they weren't going in. And then they started to go in. But I think Hodge was drawing up good stuff, had a good coaching performance today. And he's going against a legend. Ross Hodge likes to give a ton of credit. I once again want to give a ton of credit to Coach Johnny Dawkins at Central Florida. It's his 10th season at Central Florida. He had a few years at Stanford before he showed up in Orlando. So two Division I programs, that length of time as a head coach, it speaks for himself. He's been there 10 seasons. I hope he's there 10 more seasons. Central Florida, lucky to have Johnny Dawkins as a head coach in Orlando. It's not my program that I follow. I give him a lifetime contract. Big shout out, big ups. Love seeing Johnny Dawkins on the sideline at Central Florida. And so now West Virginia has 7 Big 12 wins and 6 more opportunities to get more. And I like that math. I'm a math guy. That's good math for West Virginia. They remain in the top half of the Big 12 standings. So let's go to the bubble formula again. And we're getting closer. I mean, let me say this in a way that West Virginians would understand. If the NCAA tournament bubble is Myrtle Beach, West Virginia is now at Conway. We're in the rough stretch of 501, right? But we are passing the Teal Stadium there at Coastal Carolina, metaphorically, because they're getting closer. They're almost there. West Virginia gets another road win, and by my bubble formula, West Virginia has all the road games they need to be on the bubble, unless they lose at home. And if they lose at home, they've got to win a road game to offset that. So that's great. And with 6 games left and 3 more road games, they can add to that, which is only good. And let's be candid here. That trip to Kansas State and the way things are going at Kansas State and the quotes you're getting from Jerome Tang and some of the highlights I'm seeing, I'm not watching a ton of Kansas State, but I'm seeing some highlights on the internet. They don't paint Kansas State in a great light. They're wearing bags on their heads. If West Virginia goes to Manhattan, and they are later in the season, that if they go there and lose, that might be a bad loss on the tournament resume. So I don't want to go there yet because every game on the road is tough, and West Virginia has won 3 Big 12 road games now. Anyways, we got the road wins. I'm not on the team. BYU comes to Morgantown in a couple weeks. I still feel like that's a must win for an NCAA tournament resume and a bubble resume. And BYU, They struggled with Colorado today, beat them in overtime in Boulder. Richie Saunders left the game with an injury. I said West Virginia's got to beat either Texas Tech or BYU at home. So I still have a lot riding on the game versus the Cougars in a couple of weeks. But if West Virginia can get that win and win their other two home games, that puts the Mountaineers with a 10-8 Big 12 record. And that is bubble talk. We are in the metaphor. West Virginia's got their toes in the sand. Sky wheel in the background, right? And then if West Virginia beats a fading Kansas State team, then you're 11-7. And if West Virginia somehow gets a split on the road trip between TCU and Oklahoma State, yes, there's a frog court curse. That's 12-6. And 12-6 in the Big 12 is not a bubble resume. That's an NCAA tournament resume. It is. Because that 12-6, the resume would say, swept UCF, beat Kansas, beat BYU. No quad 3 or quad 4 losses. Like that's, I know you don't have your resume in a vacuum. Other teams are trying to get up to the NCAA tournament, and you got to compare the resumes. But 12-6 in the Big 12 get you in the NCAA tournament. Now, having said that, I'm guessing you're a West Virginia University Mountaineer fan. Going out on a limb. If you're not, I don't know why you're listening, but I'm glad you're here. But as a WVU fan for a little or a long time, you know it's a dangerous game to figure out, to look at the schedule, figure out where the wins and losses are at. Because West Virginia can't always step on the rake. I don't have to say that out loud to know that that's true. And I'm not jinxing anything by saying that. I'm just saying it's a dangerous game. But West Virginia is 2/3 through the Big 12 schedule. And I can say, as I'm talking into this microphone right now, Ross Hodge and the 2025-2026 Mountaineer team, they are exceeding my expectations. Unreasonable Doubt is under the Smoking Musket umbrella. Go to smokingmusket.com. Read posts about WVU sports, Daily Throwdown. Check that out. Go to the Discord. We're talking about WVU sports and other stuff on the Smoking Musket Discord. Link for that is in the show notes. Listen to West by Pod, the WVU football podcast under the Smoking Musket umbrella. Do all that stuff. Smoking Musket. The next game for WVU is a must-win. All capital letters. Wednesday, 8:30. FS1. Hey, FS1. Listen. What happened today? The BYU Colorado game, it was on FS1. It goes to overtime, so West Virginia starts on FS2. It wasn't like under 17 CONCACAF women's soccer. This time it was Saturday at the horse track. So that got moved to the Fox One app. So the game starts on FS2, and the broadcast feed reminded me of a movie. And the movie, I'm an old person, is Independence Day, where the screen, it's like I'm seeing the broadcast, but there's some like swirls, there's like things happening. It makes you think that gigantic spaceships are covering satellites for the feed, like the movie Independence Day. So that's not great, but it wasn't, I still could watch the basketball, okay? The broadcast stays up, but then late in the first half, the broadcast pauses. I think something's happened with my internet. It hasn't, because the scroll at the bottom, the FS1 scroll, still going strong. And then they cut to minutes and minutes of commercial, and the game's still happening. So I don't know if someone tripped over a cord, too many magnets in your pocket, satellite got too hot, unplug it, plug it back in. But I think we missed minutes, plural, of game action. And luckily, the feed comes back out of a timeout. West Virginia, I think, was down 2, so it wasn't too bad. And then it craps out again. It goes back to the commercials. The FS1 scroll strong all the way through. Can absolutely see what's happening in other sports, in other games. Cannot get WVU Central Florida. Finally, the feed comes back, and it stays for the rest of the game. But in the 2025-2026 Mountaineer season, that's multiple games on multiple networks where West Virginia basketball is being played, and I can't see it. Now, the ESPN Plus game where they didn't show it, that's more egregious because they just decided to cut away early for a TV timeout. Like somebody had like already set the time or just hit the button early, which is still messed up. Today, actual technical difficulties, it seemed like, but my message is still the same. Hey, whatever network a West Virginia game is on, show the game when it's happening. And you've got that scroll. Can't you put on the scroll, hey, we got technical difficulties or something? Like somebody can type that in. I don't work in TV. It just is happening too often for my taste. Anyway, 8:30 Wednesday, FS1, must-win game, and it's against the Utes of Utah. And the Utes of Utah are currently 1-10 in the Big 12. They play at Cincinnati tomorrow, and they have a first-year head coach, Utah alum, longtime NBA assistant. He has mostly new roster, including a name we're familiar with and a face we're familiar with, James Okonkwo. Still kicking around in college basketball. Was at WVU, I believe, for 2 seasons. Then went to North Carolina, then went to Akron, and now he's with the Utes. And he's starting for the Utes. And Utah, I have not watched a ton of Utah this season. Ken Pomeroy's computer says that Utah has the worst statistical defense in the Big 12. And they're not good at rebounding. But, they're 1-10 in the Big 12. They played BYU tough twice. They were hanging around with Kansas in the fog before Kansas put them away. They can hang the banner of tying Arizona in the second half. I think they lost by 19, but the second half they were even. And they shoot the ball pretty well. And West Virginia, coming off a big road win, must win. Utah is a basement Big 12 team. We'll see what it looks like in the future and future seasons. This year, they're the basement team. Kansas State may be subletting in the basement. At home, you gotta beat a basement Big 12 team. It's a must-win. And we've had a break from must-wins. Now we're back. And it's Wednesday against Utah. Can West Virginia keep their bubble hopes alive? We'll find out. That's it for this episode of Unreasonable Doubt. Listen on all the platforms or just pick one. Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Overcast Podcasts, YouTube. Until next time, I'm Josh Witt. WVU for the 2025-2026 season. They have 16 wins and they have 9 losses.